Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to review Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. So this is a very popular book and it happens to be Maya Angelou's autobiography. So Maya Angelou, as we all know, is a social activist. She has been a very good writer and a singer as well, but she is no more. So I thought of buying this book a long time ago, because many of my friends have read it and they were quite impressed with her writing. And now after reading this book, I too fell in love with Maya Angelou's writing and the way she depicts everything in this book. So this book has an uncanny resemblance with Maya Angelou's life. She was a Negro, and when she stayed in the Southern America, there were a lot of chaos happening around because of those people who believed in racism. They were tortured and they were oppressed. So she also was a victim, and she depicts every bit of her struggle in the area where she stayed. Now this woman, Maya Angelou, struggled a lot to reach to the pinnacle, and she belonged to a downtrodden family, and her parents didn't look after her when she was young. And this book, which tells a lot of things about her life. Some of the things were really gory when I read this book. They were not very pleasing because as a girl, as a woman, you tend to feel very insecure when you read about rape. Now Maya Angelou, as we all know, is a very famous author. She's no more. She was a very famous author. She was a social activist. She struggled for the human rights, and now she also is a very good singer. And now she had a very tough life. She was a sufferer, and now she did a lot of struggle to reach to the pinnacle. Maya Angelou's novel I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings was published in 1969. We all know it's a autobiographical novel, and Maya Angelou was depicted as this young girl who faced a lot of struggle when she came to the southern part of the United States. So the novel, from the very beginning, it arouses a sort of pity and sympathy for her and her brother Bailey, for Maya and her brother Bailey, because they both were brothers and sisters in this novel, and they were abandoned by their parents, and they started living with their grandmother, who was a well-to-do woman. She ran a store where a lot of American people would come, and Maya and her brother Bailey were engaged in doing some work for the store. And they also had an uncle who was crippled, and they had a pretty good life out there. So Maya and Bailey were going through a lot of tough phase when they were abandoned by their parents, and the subject of child abuse, rape, self-identity, racism were primarily portrayed in this novel. And Maya Angelou, she was the epitome of this black girl who, faced every struggle to overcome it, and she's an epitome of every black girl in Southern America. And this novel, it arouses too much of pity for those people who are minority in that nation, and they are tortured, they are oppressed by those white people, and they were not looked after well. So this novel arouses a kind of sympathy, and I was really moved by her struggle and her days where those bad things happened to her, and I could relate to all those things, because people nowadays, especially women, are subjected to too much of torture everywhere in every part of the world, and they are not granted equal rights as men. So the most integral part of this novel comes when Maya Angelou gives a brief description about her rape. She was raped in this novel, and it kind of attacks you very badly. The situation, the chapter where I read about her rape was gory, very disturbing, and it arouses too much of anger within you, because she was a child when she was raped. She was barely 8 years old when she was raped. So now I'm not going to reveal too much about that thing, because you need to read it and then find out who rapes her and why she was raped, and what follows after it. So this novel is pretty good. It was a bestseller, so everybody knows about it. So I would suggest you to go and buy and read it. Another thing about this novel you must know is that the title of this novel was drawn from The Caged Birds, which is by an African American poet called Paul Laurence Dunbar. And Maya Angelou searched a lot about the title, and she was apprehensive about this book, whether she was very in a two-way situation, whether she portray her own life or not. And then she draws the character from this poem called The Caged Birds. So I have thought of reading a few lines of that poem. So here it goes. I know why the caged birds sings. Ah, me? When his wing is bruised and his bosom sore, when he beats his bars and would be free, it is not a carol of joy or glee, but a prayer that he sends from his heart deep core, but a plea that upward to heaven he flings. I know why the caged bird sings. So here I wrap up my review of Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. You people go grab your copy, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye.